Welcome back, everybody, to Season 2 of the Universal Open, presented by Brisk and 7-Eleven. Now it's time for our final game of the day, and two teams who will be battling it out for a chance to play tomorrow and a chance to qualify for the regional finals. Those two teams, of course, are going to be the Rejects taking on Lethality. Now, gentlemen, Lethality we saw earlier on today. Obviously, they beat Genesis 3-1 and looked pretty convincing when they were doing so. But the Rejects, we don't know too much about these guys. We haven't seen them on the broadcasters yet.
Yeah, realized my mic's muted. Fixed it. So here's what we know about the Rejects. They beat Ghost Gaming, which was Zane, Jackie, and Matt this time around, and they beat them 0-3. What we don't know is how, or anything else about them. I went and scoured the depths of the internet as far as I could, and except for this qualifier, I don't even know they exist.
You came up short. Detective
I tried. I really did. And I was just like, who are these people? And it's like, I have no idea.
And we still don't. But we will by the end of this. And they are in with the shot of qualifying for regionals. And that is a way to put yourself on the map. Shogun. Now, Lethality, now they looked very, very good earlier. Very impressive. Looking at this team, we don't know too much about the Rejects, but they've got a tall order in front of them.
Yeah, Lethality have just been... We came into the previous game wondering, okay, what else do they have in the arsenal? What else can they produce? They've got a whole host of tricks and ways to beat you in defense. They've not necessarily been tested too much defensively, but that's, you know, just sort of a glowing remark as to how good they've controlled the rest of the field. So it's all down to the Rejects. They've got a good win under their belt. They're going to need to replicate that right now because Lethality, they're sort of showing up to be the unexpected team of the week, and they're definitely the ones that, you know, the team to beat here.
Okay, well, just a reminder to everyone, like I previously said, this isn't an elimination game, but this is all for the chance of playing tomorrow and being one game away from qualifying for regionals. As we say, we've always had a team who have come out of nowhere and managed to find themselves in that contention for the regionals and qualifying for the regionals. And I've got a sneaky feeling here about Lethality. Yeah, if they can come out and play in their first game tomorrow, or their only game tomorrow, like they did in their first game today, they seem to start off hot, which is always a good thing to start with. And they can maybe game momentum. It's one game of Rocket League, you know, it's a best-of-5 series, but if you can come out with that heat and catch someone off guard, especially if they've just come off the back of a loss, which the team they will be playing obviously will have come off the back of, falling out of that upper bracket, you give yourself a real opportunity here to make it to that LAN event.
Yeah, they definitely give themselves a good chance, but the problem is they still have to get through the Rejects, and despite us being kind of uneducated about who they are and what they're capable of, you do have to take it one game at a time. You can't get too far ahead of yourself and start looking forward tomorrow and thinking about how you're going to approach G2 and Applesauce. You have to beat these guys who beat Ghost. So you know you can't take it too lightly and be like, okay, clearly they know what they're doing to some degree, so you have to focus in and lock down this series and come back tomorrow.
And final game of the day, Shogun. It's always sad. It's always sad, obviously. We only got 3 games to bring you today, unfortunately. But what are your thoughts on this one? I mean, the Rejects, we talked about how this is going to be an uphill battle for them, but Lethality, they need to continue with that fight that they had in the last game. Yeah,
Lethality, they're very smooth with the way they go about their offense. They're someone that you have to... I mean, I say you have to challenge them before they can get anything going, but they get them going from such awkward angles at times where...
And they just make you miss?
Yeah, you shouldn't be going to challenge them for some of them. So for Lethality, it's just a case of keep doing what you're doing, maybe adapt, and for the Rejects, let's see what you've got.
Yeah.
Let's see what you've got.
Where's my
It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Show me what you got.
Show me what you got. That's what they need to do. And they need to do it now, and they need to turn up now in this series. It looks like the players are joining the server at the moment. So we'll get into our final game of the day as soon as we can. We want to thank you all for watching as well. It's been a good day today, although it's been a bit of a short day. We've had some good action, and we always want you guys to be involved. So use the hashtag UOS2 to get involved. But it's time to get into the game now. So game number 1's about to get underway. The final game of the day is going to be the Rejects taking on Lethality.
For the Rejects, they're going to be starting this one off in offense. And we were looking around earlier on, different websites, different stats places, seeing if we could find anything on Forky and Test Gravity. The reason why we couldn't find anything is because they were using different names.
That is a good question. I kind of want to go like pull something up and look, but I went and looked on, you know, pretty much every encyclopedia with Rocket League about who's played and what. I just haven't found anything on these guys.
See, you know what we need to be doing? We need to be at the top level, play against these guys a lot of the time so we can learn something. But Forky is going to start this game off in the perfect way. Great challenge to get his team on.
Yeah, Lion Blaze does make one person miss, as we've been accustomed to, but this time around, Forky right behind Gravity and says you won't have the time to reset yourself and make number 2 miss as well.
Lion Blaze, great challenge from him. But he's not going to try and follow up his own original kickoff. J-Bot, we've seen how dangerous he can be up in the air. Him and Lion Blaze up on the back foot, just trying to clear their lines for the time being as Forky and Test Gravity locking down this midfield. It's quite a hard angle though, as Test Gravity gets that ball first. Now J-Bot looking for the follow-up. It's just very heavy first touch.
Ooh.
Attempt at another breakaway. Lion Blaze didn't pick up the boost. It means the Rejects can hold on to this midfield once again. Opportunity to break. Tries to get them and he's just squeezed it past. The opportunity was slowly fading, but he manages to make it.
This is just a nice catch from Lion Blaze, and it's a great power slide. If he takes his time and just drives around and slowly, you know, uses the natural turn radius of the car to get behind that one, Test Gravity makes it back and saves that one. He was that close.
The most awkward version I've seen of someone trying to shoot something like that is they jumped over the top of the ball and tried to backflip into it. Didn't work, but it was interesting.
But it looked good. And speaking of looking good, Test Gravity. You want to go back to Season 1 and Season 2 of RLCS and look at a guy who's the Cookseer lookalike? Because that is exactly what that car is.
To be honest, there's so many people out there that are influenced by Cookseer. Would not surprise me in the slightest. Test Gravity just over the top. He's looking to try and force a challenge, but J-Bot uses the whip. Now for the ceiling, J-Bot challenges it early. That could be going straight in. Requires Test Gravity to save. Very even game so far. Both teams having good opportunities and they're not wasting them so far. It's just been good defense that is preventing more goals going in. Follow-up chance around off the post. Lethality have got the midfield. They're not going to challenge until a later moment. J-Bot's got to push that to the corner. He's not in a position to try and air dribble out. Just over the top, Lion Blaze. He did beat Test Gravity, but Test Gravity never committed hard enough that he couldn't get there in time. But I'm liking this from both teams so far. Very solid fundamental Rocket League.
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite impressive, especially from Test Gravity and Forky, just based off of what we've seen from Lethality. It was the big question, you know? Can you stop them air dribbling, ground dribbling, and just making everybody miss? And the timing they have on their defensive approach has been great. One player has been willing to support. That's what it's all about in 2v2. If you're the first man on the challenge, they know their job isn't to win the ball. Win the ball if you can. The job is to make it easy for the guy behind you, and they've done that excellently.
Lion Blaze takes his time. He's flicked. Test Gravity's trying to chase back. He's going to be second best to this one. After all the compliments and all the praise, it's that corner once again.
Yeah, Forky just thinking he can probably beat Lion Blaze to that one, but it's a solid recovery out of the corner, and all he does is just loft that one over his head. And not one they'd like to give up, but there's still plenty of time. I can see the thought process behind it. There's still about 2 minutes on the clock. They might get 1 or 2 more quality chances on net.
This could be one of them. Challenge was pretty early. Test Gravity lofts the ball over the top of Lion Blaze, tries to predict, and Lion Blaze, I think, saw it, recognizing that any touch that he would have got would have gone straight over to Test Gravity, so left it entirely. Can't get the pass across. One-on-one now. Lion Blaze against Forky. Forky reacts quick. Test Gravity just over the top. Lion Blaze is not there for the save, and that is going to be 2 goals apiece.
Lion, I laughed to know if he had boost. He had about 60 in the midfield.
He had about 40 coming in here.
He had 30 on that jump, and I think he could have made that.
He would have easily made that.
Yeah.
Just double jump, and
yeah,
you only need like 20 for that one.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason that ball shouldn't get cleared. Breakdown for the rejects.
The Rejects.
The Rejects.
A remix on their name. Big challenge there from both players. Much more for Lion Blaze, though. He had to come at least equal if he wanted to have any chance of not being scored on. 0 boost. Let's see what he can do with this. Not too much more.
Oh, Lethality. Excuse me, not the Rejects. Breakdown for Lethality. Duh.
Well, this is going to break down for Lethality as the Rejects coming straight in for their 3rd goal. And just like that, the tables have switched.
Oh, Forky side flipped. I mean, he knew he was beaten. He knew he messed up his rotation out of the midfield. As soon as J-Bot came in from the side and tried to take that ball up the wall and lost it, Lion Blaze, his first instinct was to jump and try and challenge that ball, and his second instinct was to go back. And if he flips those around, he might be able to make a save.
Forky clears. Early challenge from Lion Blaze. He has read that one so quickly.
Yeah, this is just poor read here from Test Gravity. He's thinking he has time to grab the boost and just gives up the ball.
I don't know how much I can blame him for that, to be completely honest.
He's just like, look, man, because he's expecting his teammate
should be way further back.
Or he's expecting his teammate to pass the ball harder across the net and get it all the way there. Either way.
Forky goes long with the shot. Is that going to be good enough? No, straight to the corner. Lion Blaze, he's picked up boost. It's 2v1 for a little while, but now suddenly have we got one more switch of the leaders to go. It's been 2 of them in just the last minute. 20 seconds left. All tied up. The rejects look to be getting the last quality opportunity. This could be it. No! J-Bot by himself. He picked up the boost. He's going to force Forky all the way back. Can't get the block. Forky just can't shoot the ball to the back of the net. Lion Blaze has got to buy his teammate time. And it will be going to overtime. Well, we've got one less series to bring you today. I'll tell you what, this one has got all the makings to be worth 2.
Yeah, if there is one thing that Forky and Test Gravity have done well, it's not allow that one into the back of the net. Unfortunate start to OT, but Lion Blaze and J-Bot will take game number 1 in pretty standard fashion, I guess, for them. That wasn't, there was no flair to that one at all.
So, on set.
Yo.
One thing we've learned from game 1, hyper-aggressive off-the-ball players so far.
Yes, we've learned a little bit about the rejects quite quickly, haven't we? And we know that we're definitely in for a series here. The way they've come out of the gates there, showing no respect to their opponents after what they've just done as well. So a tight win, but a win, nevertheless, for Lethality there. And always in a game where maybe you're taking on some players that you're not too familiar with their play styles and things like that. As long as you get that win on the board in that game number 1, you're going to feel pretty good about it.
And there is one thing that Forky and Test Gravity, I was going to say before that overtime game winner went in, that they did excellently throughout the entire game. They made sure to use the space on the pitch they had in the best way possible. They were always coordinated in their approach on offense or defense, and it has definitely created a much more even matchup for Lethality than we've seen of the previous Lethality opponents.
This has just become a battle of who's got the better position players. It's just,
pretty much.
As soon as the ball is loose, whoever can get a clean bit of contact is taking the ball. As you saw for that goal, to make it 3 goals apiece, and then there's just this. I like this, though, because we have complained numerous times about teams being very negative about not taking their opportunities. Both these teams, they know the destiny's in their own hands, and they are really going for it.
Yeah, they're going for it. That's what I love. You've got to, as you say, the destiny is very much in their own hands here, and they're one game away, as we say, from getting into tomorrow, making it to day 3 of this tournament. You know, both these teams might not have expected to get to this stage, and they give themselves a shot at qualification for that regional finals. It's a huge deal for these guys in this game, and I love the fact that neither of the teams seem to be feeling that pressure too much, and they're just coming out and expressing themselves and playing their game. Yeah,
and the best part is the real test comes tomorrow. You know, they've had to play some pretty stiff competition coming into this one, but you'll be against the cream of the crop tomorrow. And I think that with that in the back of their mind, they're like, all right, these aren't even the hardest games. If we can't win these games, then we don't deserve to be there. And I think that's kind of helped both of them, because they're like, all right, look, we beat these guys, let's give ourselves a chance. And you don't care who you play at that point. You just say, we're good at this game, let's go show it.
So that's very curious as well, because both these teams seem very evenly matched, but they know the hardest task is yet to come. So despite them being so evenly matched, both teams want to sweep aside the opponents. They don't want it to even be close, because they know for a fact that it's going to be a major jump tomorrow.
Yeah, if you come off the back of a 3-0, if you win this series 3-0 right now, if you're Lethality, then you're sat in that lowest bracket. And if you go up against a team that's dropping down, they're going to look across the bracket and go like, oh, like, sheesh.
They've been doing well.
These guys have been rocking it through this lower bracket. You know, we can't take these guys lightly. So, all to do for both these teams. Of course, Rejects gave it a good go in that first game. Obviously, Lethality winning that one in overtime. But I'm expecting a tight series here. I've got to be honest. I think game 2, though, is there's a lot on this game 2. I feel like if Lethality take this game 2, it might be a little bit too much for Rejects to come back from. But let's find out right now, because we're about to get into our game number 2. Over to you guys.
So the Rejects looking to bounce back from what was an incredibly tight game number 1, a game where neither team was really able to capitalize on a lead and hold it. Still all to play for. Lion Blaze chases down. He's got a big challenge in him. Yes, he does. But now J-Bot's all by himself, and he's definitely got away with that. He's not too worried after seeing that one.
Big double commit from Test Gravity and Forky. Just a little bit of breakdown in communication between those two.
Pass down. Lion Blaze has got it into a danger area. Test Gravity pushes it away, but still the damage could very well still be dealt. J-Bot takes his time. We already know how dangerous he can be just by himself.
Forky was thinking about doing that turnaround flick with the nose of the Octane, and that one's over the top. Lion Blaze takes it himself, and they're back out in front to start off game 2.
Tornado Flicks, don't need them, just go and hit it.
Tornado Flicks.
I believe that's the name for it.
Really? Is that what people call it? I never knew what people called it, and you know, you learn something new every day.
Jump up, spin 180, and turn around and do the backflip, isn't it?
That's the tornado flick?
Yeah, that's a tornado
I'll
flick.
take your word for it, because I don't actually know.
Lion Blaze for the follow-up off the post. Onset did make the point coming into this game where the rejects, they really do need to take this one, but they already find themselves a goal down.
Man, both teams taking turns giving up on a couple of challenges and giving away possession. Does it cost them the other way? Yes, it will.
Wow, that was impressive. Almost scored with the car and the bow. Thankfully, he scored with the most important of those two things, and that was indeed the car. Lion Blaze didn't have a chance to get to that one.
Yeah, just slammed out of the way.
Very much tests of the mid. In fact, no. I'm going to take that one back because it's been seeing very little midfield challenge so far. Both these teams.
They both backed off on it. They both backed off of a challenge at the top of the opposition's box, and one of the teams scored the chance they got off it.
Lion Blaze tries to follow up his own touch with 0 boost, so we get too much going there. J-Bot's touch will go straight over to Test Gravity for launch away, and this is something that we didn't see too much from either side in the first game. Test Gravity very heavy with some of his touches so far.
Dominus does have a knack for chipping the ball up quite well, but sometimes if the ball's moving a little bit quick, it is sort of tough to get that one stuck on your nose.
Oh, there's another double commit. Might be set up, J-Bot. You see that one whistle past his head. Now Forky, he's faked out. Flick away. He's got it straight over to Test Gravity. Unreal gameplay from Forky. What an assist.
It was brilliant, and also, man, Lion Blaze got a dose of his own medicine right there. Just had to sit and wait and think, and he played himself in the net, and he got beat.
So 2-1 now, the rejects. A phenomenal bit of gameplay there from Forky. To put themselves 1 goal up, but as we did see in game number 1, 1 goal seems to mean very little
for these two
between
teams.
these two teams, and J-Bot might have to see his team go 2 goals down. Will eventually clear the ball away. A lot of time being taken as Forky just lofting the ball up high. Good challenge there from Lion Blaze, keeps the ball moving forward. Got to try and figure out Forky though, and he's unable to do that. J-Bot has got that over the top, and as we mentioned, a 1-goal lead in this series. You might as well not even have it, to be honest.
Yeah, but if there is one thing that I've noticed from Test Gravity and Forky, they do double commit a little bit more than I'd like to see.
That's the third of this game.
That is the third just this game. And that is definitely something to keep your eye on. That cannot keep happening for sure.
Oh, that's going to be a long ball, and suddenly a goal lead for Lethality. Now, achieves.
Yes.
I believe that this is now the 5th lead a team has taken. Neither team has been able to capitalize it and put it into a win. I am not counting overtimes for that stat, because that is just unfair.
It has been plenty of back and forth between these two teams. It's been a lot of fun, for sure. Ooh, did they give up the ball? They did. Oh, no.
That's off the backboard. Forky can't make contact. Lion Blaze saw an opportunity for himself. At the very least, he's kept the pressure now on. Good clear. Flicked up by Lion Blaze. He's got boost to follow it as well. And see J-Bot just waiting for his opportunity. I like how wide J-Bot's playing as well. He's just predicting where it's going to go, and he's got all of the options from that position.
You know, we touched on it back in, week 1 of these closed qualifiers. 2v2 is all about the off-ball player. The on-ball player can do whatever they want, and sometimes they come out on top. But the off-ball player covers everything else and is responsible for keeping your team in the position you're in, or getting them out of it.
J-Bot. Just wanted to see what Forky was doing. There was potential there for a redirect. He's going to keep moving it around, and he's got the option around.
Oh, so slow.
Going to keep going by himself. We've already saw J-Bot do this earlier on, but he's just such a menace to play against. He calmed down the individual players a little bit today, but this is why. Just pulled it out of nowhere, and he has decimated the defense.
They saw that dribble that the rejects handed them earlier in front of the net. They decided to do the same thing, and they got him just as tongue-tied as they did back on the other end of the net. Excellent execution.
Dropping straight down, just under a minute left. The rejects on the verge of being 2 games down. But they need to score this just over the top. 50 seconds now. 1 goal difference.
Gravity and Forky taking turns, doing work on both sides of the pitch. Game number 1, Forky was putting them in. This game, Gravity's putting them in. What a soft touch from the Dominus as well. That's the one thing that's one of the things, I take that back. That's one of the things I love about that car. It's so easy to get around the ball because it's so long and still get a decent amount of power. Love it.
Test Gravity's got himself a hat trick. But in a game as tense as this, that's still not good enough, and J-Bot could have finished it. That was a sitter right there.
Yep.
Looking for the flick, Forky. Didn't catch it well enough, and now Test Gravity's going to keep himself going. He's picked up the boost as well. And Lion Blaze recognizes exactly that fact. Forky has to try and deal with this. Which he can do, but the time is ticking away from them. Back down, J-Bot. It's going to be awkward for him to go for. Just going to steal that time. If there's any player to do it, it will be J-Bot.
Oh, what a cut.
Well done there from Lion Blaze. Off the backboard. J-Bot's there just in time. One final opportunity for the rejects. Test Gravity, he's so heavy with his first touch, he can still make something from this. And he might do exactly that. But it will hit the back of the floor. Lethality. 2 games to nothing up. They've been made to work for it.
Yeah, 2 goals to nothing up, but just 1 goal between the teams. In both of these games, it really has been an attritional battle between the 2 teams. And in that one, it was J-Bot with a few individual plays. We saw a lot of it yesterday when he was given a little bit more space, but to pull it off in a game like this where it's so tight, that was the game-changing moment for me.
Yeah, and both teams took a little bit of each other. A good chunk out of them. There was a couple great dribble plays in front of the net for both teams with J-Bot and Lion Blaze, especially in those final 20 seconds, 20 or 30 seconds.
What I really actually like is that J-Bot, he's barely tried that today. If you go for something over and over again, teams know to expect it, but we already know that J-Bot can manage it. He knows that he can manage it, just has to wait for the correct opportunity to be that monster that we know he can be. And he chose his timing absolutely brilliantly.
And the clock management as well from Lethality.
So that was the main question I had coming into this is, a lot of times they've been barely challenged when it comes to the end of the game where they haven't really been forced to test their mental side of the game. Like, how well can you... We've seen teams that go very defensive. We've seen teams like G2 that are just happy to play the field. And we've seen teams that... They don't know that they're in the lead. They still seem to think that they're 5 or 6 goals down and just keep going for it. But for Lethality, very mature gameplay from them. They didn't overdo it, but at the same time...
You stay close enough to the ball.
They only did that when they were 2 goals up. I'm still... like. You've got to be able to do that from 1 goal up and start to make small, subtle changes to your gameplay. I haven't seen that from either team yet.
Okay then, well, I mean, we're at the point now where, you know, rejects have been close, but they're not close enough right now, and they have to win 3 back-to-back games to be in with a chance of coming back onto the broadcast tomorrow. But Lethality continuing to impress in a slightly different way this time. They were flexing their muscles a little bit in the previous round that we saw them play. You know, they were showing off a little bit, giving us some entertainment. But in this one...
This is the full body workout.
it's exactly. This is the full body workout, as you say, and they're showing something that we didn't get to see in those previous series, which is a little bit of mental toughness as well.
Yeah, can you react under pressure when you need to win a game versus a team that's going to really test you and what you can do? And they've done well so far. They're 2 down, but there's still 1 more to go, and it's been a close game every single time. Gravity and Forky have been so close, but still that big difference. That 1 goal that's the difference maker in both of those games has been a double commit and a free goal.
Yeah, you know that if they were to win it, they're going to be close games over and over again, so... You know, they're sort of going to have to ride their luck as well, because these games have been close. I don't want to necessarily call them a coin flip, but you sort of have to say, if you did have a best of 5 and it was a coin flip, you're 2 down. You're not going to trust yourself to win 3 in a row, but they've got to try and manage something here.
Well, they need to pull it out of the bag, and Lethality, of course, just 1 game away now, gentlemen. I mean, Lethality, we talked about how good they are and how impressed we've been with them today, but I think we need to just give a little bit of love here to the rejects. We were coming into this game. We hadn't seen them on broadcast so far. These 2 players have been so impressive, and one player in particular in that game, Forky, that assist was sublime.
That was...
It was a great dribble.
I mean, I think
just
it
put
helped.
hand up right now. I put my button.
So you want the assist of the day for that one?
Assist of the day, guys.
So when we get asked that later on, do we have to pretend like we're not
You
too sure?
trust production after what they did to us
That's a
earlier on in
great
the show?
point.
Absolutely
That's
not.
a great point.
Oh, you are so right. You are so right.
Can't be wrong.
I've got serious trust
We
issues
better
right now.
better find clips of that later. Like go back to the hotel tonight.
I don't want to
and
see
just
any
be like-
clips of
I
that.
do. I
Everyone
absolutely
needs to
do.
get-
I just got in my ears haters gonna hate from production, so you know. What can I do? What can I do? But
I'm
the
hating
teams-
real hard. You trust me.
The teams are joining, and this could potentially be our final match of the day. One more game to go for lethality. It's been an entertaining day again. I love the day twos. Day twos give us that
Lot of fun.
excitement, give us that pressure. So let's see if one of these teams can deal with the pressure right now. Let's get into our game number 3. Lethality just one game away from making it through to tomorrow.
Yep, and the rejects have got it all to do, but this could be a great start for them. Forky's so close on the challenge. Rejects know exactly what the task ahead of them is. And they are going to be aggressive all the way to the grave if they have to be.
Ooh,
Test Gravity's still gone for this.
what a block! Does
Might
he
drop
have
straight
it?
down. He's got a second
Oh my
touch.
goodness, put it in.
Unreal gameplay that deserved a goal. Oh, that's so hard to achieve, though.
It really is because
It's
he had
so
to use.
rare.
He used so much boost just to stay with it, and
know
you're so sad.
A play is great when it is not a goal and we're still sat here going, that was fantastic.
That was great.
Test Gravity launches long again. It's not going to be too much to deal with, and that is actually a poor clear. I've seen a lot of players doing this recently where they are trying to find that arc over in the corner to try and launch off. It's so much more difficult for the other team to try and read, but on the other side it can come back to bite you. It can just launch straight onto the bonnet of one of your opponents. J-Bot back down. Gets the challenge over to Lion Blaze.
Too hard.
He has got the boost to his name.
Oh, what a
Nice.
tackle! J-Bot out of position though. Free ball.
Test Gravity is just so quick with these recoveries. Far side. Lion Blaze looking for the push. He's won it. Test Gravity,
no.
he's missed. J-Bot, he's going to have to beat him one more
Gently.
time. And he doesn't recognize that straight down. Thought that Test Gravity was done.
Yeah, J-Bot just didn't have the boost to put that one in. He got the touch, he got the angle, but just didn't have anything left in the tank to make sure he got it there with enough power.
Going to be awkward. Lion Blaze, even more awkward for him that he has now been demoed. Backflip from Test Gravity. J-Bot's back around. Lethality are just stuck in this final third, but they've finally got it away. And the rejects, they'll be happy to see that they were not caught out. So many times we've seen players too far forward. Test Gravity, he's trying to put that one over. This
Oh, he
is
juked his own teammate.
not been good gameplay at all, but they're going to get away with it.
Will they?
Oh, no.
You were saying?
No, it looked like it was a hard angle, but Lion Blaze cares not for your silly angles. And they're going to manage that.
Yeah, Gravity's going to be a little upset. It was that maybe second touch after he chipped that ball up to try and follow that play. Forky behind him realized that my teammate's in trouble. I'm going to go help him, and we'll just go back on defense.
That one,
And then he had that one extra touch, and that was all she wrote.
that one really needed a bit of communication between the two. And if that is the way that the rejects go out of this tournament, they would despise it. They need now to find that goal. It brings us up to 1 goal each. Otherwise, they are heading out of this tournament despite a great showing for themselves. Lion Blaze has got the ball. Didn't get it onto his hood, so instead tries to force a fake.
Couldn't make
Follow
it.
from J-Bot will not be on target.
He got scared of cutting in too hard because Lion Blaze was rotating out on the same side that J-Bot's shot was going to go in. He just didn't want to crank it off his teammate's car.
Test Gravity looked at the ceiling shot. There was another double commit on the back from the rejects.
Great read from Lion Blaze there.
J-Bot, he's not going towards this. Back to the middle. J-Bot over the top. Have the rejects just pushed that
So
little bit too far
aggressive.
forward? Yes, they have. Now 2 goals down.
I was on J-Bot's camera that whole time, and I thought, surely Test Gravity has backed off into the midfield to pick up the boost to challenge this from that position, but no, they wanted to keep it right in front of that orange net. And boy, did he get punished for it.
Just that small switch from lethality. They've been, so many times where they've gone 1-0 up, and they've still been pushing forward like it's a tie game. This time, they've recognized that the rejects have got all the work to do.
Yep.
There's a possibility the rejects could panic. And it's worked out because the Rejects have made those mistakes.
And Lethality managed the clock quite well in the wrap-up of game number 2, that final 20 or 30 seconds or so. They didn't allow a ton of chances like some teams have a nasty habit. They back off and try and lock down, and the other team gets a ton of free shots on goal. They keep things close, and it's going to be a tough one for Forky and Gravity to come back here.
Forky's still got ball control, but Lion Blaze holds himself towards the midfield. Rejects have not had a solid opportunity in so long, and there's a bump from Forky on his own teammate. Test Gravity forced to save, but it's another double commit. Rejects are falling apart in front of our very eyes. Follow-up will not be around as Test Gravity takes out J-Bot.
Oh,
Lion Blaze. I don't think Lion Blaze has seen his own side of the field for a very long time. Just keeps grabbing boost from the midfield and turning around. Even sometimes just doesn't even grab boost. Just goes straight down the small boost pickup line.
Boost is the greatest crutch in this game, Shogun. Don't you know that?
Lion Blaze has just got such good pathing that he has always got some.
If you need boost to win, you're not good.
Lion Blaze will be following. Still 2-0, 15 seconds left. And what an impressive end showing from Lethality. They took the early lead, and then they just squeezed the life out of the Rejects. With the time ticking away, we will be seeing them tomorrow. Lethality progress through to a qualifying round.
Yeah, they managed to do it. They managed to close out the series, and they show a bit of killer instinct in that final game of the series, and you always need a little bit of killer instinct in you as a team, especially when it comes to tournament play. So congratulations to Lethality there. A great way for them to finish out that series.
Oh, yeah, and I think, you know, despite the Rejects not coming out with a win in any of them, getting shut out in game number 3, I think they know exactly what went wrong. They know they played a decent series. They're going to be a little bit upset at the way they lost it, but you can hang your head high. You had a pretty good run of things. Come back next time, but Lethality, that was a brilliant way to close it out. It was tight all the way through. Pretty much nothing wrong with that game, really. They didn't get a ton of chances. They only got 5 shots on goal in this game. And they put 2 of them in the net, and they said, look, we'll just tighten down on defense, make sure we don't make any glaring mistakes, and it worked out.
And one thing we should note as well is that Lionheart was 7 goals, 10 saves, so he came one short of the dual force achievement unlock. But Shogun, I mean, it was a great performance, but just give a little bit of love here to the Reject, because it seems like they're very close. But it's just a few fixable things, quite easily fixable things for them. Maybe gives them a better chance if that series is played again.
So here's the scary thing is that, let's say the Rejects take game 1. You could so easily see this exact scenario playing out, but for the opposite side.
Yeah.
Just didn't quite go for them. There was a lot of nearly moments that they're going to kick themselves for. There was even nearly moments towards the start of that 3rd game where Test Gravity had that phenomenal double tap out of nowhere. If that one goes in, that could shape an entirely different complexion for that final game. It sucks. It happens. Competitive Rocket League can be very harsh.
Tournament play is a cruel mistress, but one thing that is good news is at the end of the day today, we have 54 goals scored across 3 games, just the 3 games today. So not surprising to see that number a little bit down, but that means 540 meals, thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent, will be donated to the World Food Programme USA for the final time today. If you want to get involved, head over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open. Again, thank you so much to Soylent for being involved and for donating to that fantastic cause. But let's have a brisk bracket update now. Let's see exactly how things are going to be looking forward to tomorrow, because I mean, tomorrow's all about qualification to that regional competition, and that is what I am looking forward to, seeing that right hand side filled up with 4 team names. We have G2 Esports B going up against Applesauce. Tomorrow we'll also have SizzleUrCob going up against CLG. The loser of those 2 games, I mean, look at the 2 teams we have down the bottom waiting for them. We have Lights Out and Lethality. The impressive Lethality will be waiting for those teams and looking to cause that upset. Gentlemen, it's going to be a great day tomorrow.
Couldn't be more happy with the 2 teams that made the run through the lower bracket. I think they've both proven they absolutely deserve to have a chance at qualification for the regionals. The teams out of the other upper bracket got to be careful. I know you're the teams 1 through 4. This is the first time nobody's been knocked out on day 2 that we didn't expect. 1 through 4 are in the top half. They come into day 3. Tomorrow's going to be tough.
Okay, well, let's have a favourite part of the day that I might have, hopefully production have listened to me, is, of course, our State Farm assist of the day. Now, I'll put my hand up right now. I'm saying it was Forky.
It was good. It was a good dribble.
Are we in agreement?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, well, let's find out exactly who our State Farm assist of the day is going to be going to, and it is going to be going to, please don't troll us right now. It looks like it is going to be Forky. Yes, it is. It was a fantastic play, gentlemen.
Oh, that fake was so good.
Sometimes you just got to really give credit. I mean, there's a goal scorer, and then there's the assist. This is as good as they come. For Forky, just plays that position absolutely brilliant. I mean, if you're the defense, you're looking at it and just saying, Forky's just going to hit this at us, isn't he? Because realistically, that's what most players would do. Instead, he fakes it out and gets a sublime pass off.
It's the best part about assist play, you know? The mind game factor of it. Be like, hey, can I make you do this? Ha! Got him!
Absolutely not. Well, congratulations to Forky, of course. You are our State Farm assist of the day, so congratulations. And thank you all for watching. Again, of course, we always want to hear from you guys. So use the hashtag UOS2 ahead of tomorrow. Tell us what games you're looking forward to seeing, who you think is going to qualify as well. And don't forget to follow us at Universal Open on Twitter as well. But that's going to do it all for today, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us once again. We'll all be back tomorrow, because tomorrow is all about qualifications for the 6 teams that are left. We'll see you then, and have a good evening in the meantime. Goodbye. Does it ever put aside for me? For me! For me! Alright, come on.